Andres de AA Sports. Well, the Club America, the main A team, began their 2025 playing a game against Inter Miami in Las Vegas. Club America at the same time also kicked off their 2025 Clausura season against Querétaro. And for these games, they actually did not have their A team as of course, the A team was in Vegas, so a lot of young faces for América in this game, as the team decided to rest many of the A team players for their game against Miami, such as Zendejas and Martin. An understandable decision, as they will be playing a lot more in the upcoming weeks later in the season, as well as when Conca Champions begins. With that, many from their youth academies got to start and play in this opening game of the Clausura, and only 3 players from the A team were actually in the starting lineup, mainly to provide leadership on the field. These 3 were Nestor Araujo, Eric Sanchez, and Rodolfo Cota, who is the backup for Malagon. He got to start in this game. As for the rest, many of them were from their America's academies, their U20 or U23 teams, with the youngest being Franco Rosano, the 19-year-old getting to start in the left back position for this game. And despite not having their A-team players and going up against a much older and more experienced Querétaro roster, América still walked out with a win, the final score being 1-0. And it could have been 2 or 3-0. Aaron Arredondo had a shot hit the crossbar, and Dagoberto Espinosa missed a big chance wide as well. While these young players still need to work on their finishing shots on goal, these young players still performed well and won, showing that América can beat Querétaro's best on any day, even without their A-team. With that, to start the Clausura and 2025 calendar year, América walked out with a 1-0 win versus Querétaro. Here are the team's grades for this performance. Goalkeeper, A-. Rodolfo Cota had a clean sheet in a game where he didn't need to make any saves. Nevertheless, he got some playing time and provided some leadership to the younger players. A solid game for the man who is mainly the backup for Malagon. Center backs, A. Miguel Vasquez and Nestor Araujo were the starting center back duo, and together combined for 4 tackles won and over 130 accurate passes when in possession of the ball and pushing up. For Araujo, this was a solid game for his standards, given he is an aging player on the roster who hasn't been the same after injuries and has struggled to keep up with pace of play on the field at times. Miguel Vasquez also looks like a promising future prospect. Hopefully he gets more playing time during these next few weeks. Wingbacks, A-. 19-year-old Franco Rosano got to make just his 3rd appearance for América this year. This time as the starting left back. Dagoberto Espinosa was the starting right back, playing in his 10th game this year for the team. Like the center backs, both held the fort down defensively. However, they do need to work on their finishing shots on goal. Espinosa had a great scoring opportunity in the second half that he blundered, shooting the ball wide to the right of the near post. Outside of that, though, I think both players were good in this game. I really do like how Dagoberto Espinosa plays, and while his finishing shots need work, I think there is a lot of hope and potential in the 20-year-old player. He was great when stepping in to replace injured players defensively during the Apertura, but once the A-team, got healthy and they started making their way back on the roster, he was really left aside and didn't get much playing time since then. Hopefully he gets more playing time in the Clausura, as he looks to be a promising player that can develop into a solid defender for América going forward, especially in the right back position. Midfielders, A+. They took many shots on goal and outplayed Querétaro's midfield and defense. But the 2 players of the match for América were Miguel Ramirez and Antonio Alvarez. In the 64th minute, Ramirez provided the assist to Alvarez, who scored the only goal in the game, which gave América the win. The midfield won the game for América. Offensive front, B-. Patricio Salas was the starting striker. He had 2 shot attempts in the game, but outside of that, it was a relatively quiet game from him. In the second half, Esteban Lozano came on as a substitute in place of Salas. He had 1 shot that went just wide to the right of the goal, but outside of that, didn't produce anything serious. Granted, neither of these 2 players have gotten a whole lot of playing time in the big league, as for both of them, this was just their second appearance this year for América. With that, América starts the Clausura undefeated, and they eventually went on to play Tijuana, and they tied against Tijuana with a very similar lineup, so undefeated. And this is without the 18 players, which makes you wonder, how lethal will this team be when their A team starts playing in these Clausura games? We'll find out.